Stacy and welcome back to my channel. Happy Saturday. Thank you guys for coming back. This week is going to be a little more personal because I wanted to talk about something today that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. And since it is kind of mental health awareness time, I thought I would talk about something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with and don't talk about. Or if they don't talk about it, it's a personal thing. It is personal. I mean, mental health is a very personal battle. But in particular, I feel like a lot of people I know that have this, it's very different for each person, and that is anxiety. It's a thing, and it's not just that nervous worry that you get when something's coming up. It's not what you get when you have a speech in class. It's an all the time 24/7 thing for most people. I have anxiety. It has not been fun. Mixed with probably a little bit of like obsessive OCD. And if you take a personality quiz, I think I'm INFJ, which is like someone who worries. But basically anxiety for me is the constant feeling that something is going to happen, and if things are good, you're looking for the next horrible thing to happen. And if there's nothing to be worried about, you make something to worry about. Whether it's in your head or it's actually a legit thing, you make something to worry about. It's taken me many years to figure out how to kind of manipulate that a little bit so it's less. And believe me, there are times that I call my sensitive times where I am sensitive, where I am a little anxious and my anxiety is a little high and it's a little peaked. And any little thing sets me off in that time period. And there are times where like I wake up and it's good, everything is fine. And I can look at myself and be like, you got this. And there are other times where it's my sensitive time, where I just don't want to even deal with anything. Where like everything just amounts to be a little bit too much. And it could be something like dropping my purse on the ground and just being like, and then dropping my phone within minutes of each other. That could be like, great, my day shit. Done. Bye. For me, it's coupled with the constant worry that someone's upset with you. Like, and the constant worry that something's wrong, like I said earlier. Like, if someone says something, and they could mean it as a total joke, but I could take it as, like, they're mad at me, that they actually think that. And that's hard. It's hard to kind of flip that switch in your brain and be like, they're joking. It's okay. It's okay to deal with that in different ways. It's okay to not really know how to take that. And it's hard to get there. I did a lot of work one-on-one with someone and a lot of work in a group. And it was a DBT, which is a dialectical behavioral theory group. And what I learned is that basically people that suffer with anxiety usually, one, have a form of OCD. 2, because you can't control it. And 2, we pick up on emotions and feelings easier than others. And my coworkers will agree that I can walk into a room and know, and just be like, what happened? Like, I could be in the room for 3 seconds and just be like, what's happened? They could be totally doing normal things. But I can just walk in and be like, what happened? Who's mad? Who's angry? Because I feel like I pick up on those things more than others. And everyone's anxiety is different. For me, it can be little things like if my piercing looks funny that day, something's wrong with it, and I have to go figure it out. If my lizard doesn't eat one night, he's sick, something has to be wrong. When in retrospect, the piercing is not wrong. The lizard is fine. If something needs to be done, I have to do it. I have to do it, and I have to do it now. Because I don't like waiting. I don't like feeling panicked. And for me, things trigger. Like, I have triggers, almost. Where if I'm in a crowd and I feel very stuck, and I'm short, I'm only like 5 feet something. I'm not tall. And if I'm in a crowd and I can't see over people, and there's a bunch of people around me, I instantly get panicked. And I instantly go to that place of, oh my god, I'm never finding my way out of this. I've been separated from friends, and I've literally gone into a full-blown panic. Because I'm like, I'm never going to find them. And in my mind, I'm like, use your cell phone. Find a place that's open, like a store or whatever, and say you're in that store and they'll find you. And it's that easy, but in my mind, I instantly flip to like, okay, what's going to happen? Another thing with anxiety is if someone is having an anxious moment and they deal with anxiety, don't brush it off as you're overreacting. Because to them, they're not. And to them, it's real. What they're feeling and what they're experiencing is real. And you need to let them experience and feel that, because it is the only way that they're going to be able to kind of work it out and figure it out for themselves. I have learned very easily to just tell people. And the people who I'm very close with know that I have this and know when I get to that place, and they calm me down. But, I mean, I off the bat let people know if I'm having one of those days, because I don't want them to take it personal, and I don't want me to then internalize it and it just feeds off each other. The thing with, like, mental health is a real thing. And if people don't believe that, then they've never known anyone who has had a mental health issue, whether it's OCD, bipolar, depression, you know, all those things get ignored because they're just because I feel like people think they're emotions, and while they are, they're not. There's something in people's minds that put them, especially bipolar, you know, you have your ups and your downs, and your highs are very high and your lows are real low. And people who deal with that and they live that every day, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do, and people who just brush it off and don't think it's real or think that it's controllable, they just add to the issue. They add to the fact that they make you, the person who has this anxiety, bipolar, manic depressive, depression, it makes that person feel that much worse. And it devalidates what they feel, and when all they want to feel is validated, and that what they're feeling is real, and it is. No one can tell someone that they don't feel those things when they clearly do. And the worst thing you can tell me when I'm having one of those panic moments and anxiety is to calm down, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, don't you wish I could? Don't you, as the person who's witnessing me go into a panic, don't you wish that I can stop that? Because it's not fun for me. I don't like feeling like that. The person doesn't like watching it. So when people say calm down, it's okay, I'm like, don't you think if I could calm myself down and turn it off, don't you think I would? Same with everyone else who suffers from a mental health problem or issue or whatever you want to call it. I don't like calling them diseases because they're not. I don't feel they are. I feel like there's something that needs to be light shed on it, and there needs to be research put into it, and there needs to be outlets for people to get help. Without those outlets, you have a bunch of people who don't feel validated, they don't feel themselves, they don't feel good about themselves. And in this day and age, in 2017, and in this world, something as easy as helping someone with depression or whatever they're feeling should be something that's readily available, because there are people who have worse conditions that don't know to seek help, that can't seek help because they can't hold a job. And if they're handicapped, they can't have an apartment. And they end up the people who just get pushed aside in society, and that's not right, and it's not their fault because they were born this way. And it's something that I just don't get why more people aren't willing to open up doors and say, hey, if you need help, let's get you help. I have nothing more than the people I know who suffer from, like, one of my friends has bipolar. And she obviously is well enough to receive help, and with the help of, you know, whatever she gets, she can make it easier. There are millions of people who can't, or who don't know how to get help, or help is not available to them. And I just wish that people who deal with this stuff aren't alone and don't feel alone, because that's one of the worst feelings ever. And in high school, I didn't know what it was that did this. And people who I dealt with day to day, friends, boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, people who met me, they didn't get it, and it looked like I was crazy. Because there would be times where I would literally not be able to do things, whether it was go someplace, do something, and I would do it, but the entire time I would be miserable, and they knew it. And I felt like it almost made me look like an ass, because I looked miserable when in reality I just wanted to have a good time with my friends. And even people who I've dated have been like, you need to calm down and you need to not freak out. And it's like, if I could, I would. I think, like, that's the stuff that I want people to know, is that if people with mental health issues could turn it off, I think they would in a minute. Most people would opt to turn it off, because it would make their lives easier. And at the end of the day, I just want people to understand that it's not something that should be ignored. It's not something that should be shoved under the rug or just put off and dealt with. And I feel like, especially with who's president, all the availability that was there is just going to go, and because he doesn't support it. And I just feel like that's silly, because it's something that should be supported, because people can live lives with help. So that was my video. Sorry it was kind of rambly. Sorry if you didn't like this kind of video. It was something I needed to talk about and get off my chest. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have questions for me, leave them in comments, tweet me, Tumblr me, Facebook me, Instagram me. I'll put all those links below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I make videos every week on anything and anything. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!